folks, welcome back to another video. I was recently down the other end of the country, and close to where I was staying there was a small hardware store, so I thought I'd go and have a look at what locks they had in stock. I'm always interested to see what hardware stores in the UK are actually stocking, and unfortunately, especially with the larger stores, more often than not they tend to stock master locks, which is very disappointing because the lock sports community as a whole put a lot of effort into making people aware of the dangers of using such locks. Anyway, I was pleased to see that that particular hardware store did not stock any master locks. They did have some Abus locks, and they had some Faithful brand padlocks. Faithful are a brand of tools. I do have some of their tools, but I'd be interested to see what their locks are like. Anyway, I thought, if I was the average bloke going into that shop looking for a really strong padlock for my shed, then I would probably go with this disc padlock. And this one is made by a fairly common lock manufacturer, Sterling, well known. I really like disc padlocks. They're a great idea. The round body makes them very difficult to attack physically because you can't really get any grip on them. If you use these in conjunction with a chain, it's very unlikely that you're going to get any bolt cutters anywhere near the shackle on this. And you can buy special hasps that actually cover up the whole shackle. In fact, Sterling make one for this particular padlock, and they are just a brilliant idea. I really like them. However, there are some common weak points in a lot of these disc padlocks, and sadly, the most common is the core. They tend to be really easy to pick. Usually that can be because obviously the core is quite short. You can only fit between 4 and 5 pins. Thankfully this one seems to have 5 pins in it, but very few lock manufacturers seem to bother even putting spool pins in these. Another weak point is the core, which always seems to be made of brass, and this is a really easy point to drill. So I'm very pleased that Sterling are one of the few lock manufacturers to bother putting a anti-drill plate on that, so that's going to be really difficult to drill. Now, the Sterling are now owned by Bergwachter, and they are obviously quite proud of that. They've got Bergwachter stickers on the lock and the packaging. You might think, well, it's a good thing because Bergwachter make locks that are very difficult to pick. Well, I did have a Sterling padlock not all that long ago that was really easy to pick. So easy to pick that I could actually teach complete new beginner lock pickers to pick that lock. So I should have a lot of confidence in this lock. To be quite honest, I don't. Let's say it's 8.5 security rating, which is in their heavy range. You can read all the features there, nothing too interesting there. They do say lubricate it with a light spray oil. Don't spray that into the core, just on the mechanism. 10-year guarantee, I mean, who's going to bother with that? It's just a nice thing to fill the gap. The actual the model number, I guess, of this lock is SPL100. Now, you get disc padlocks in usually 70mm. This is 70. You can get them in 60 through to 90, I believe. I did a little bit of research before doing this video, just online, to see what the price was, and it turns out that the price online isn't all that different from this right here, £13.99. So I wasn't completely ripped off. However, some of the Amazon reviews of this lock were a little bit disappointing. Some people said that the keys were really flimsy. I can believe that because they're only brass. And other people said that the lock seized up and stopped working after a couple of weeks, which is really strange. It shouldn't happen. Anyway, I've resisted for this long from opening the packaging, so let's cut it open and have a go at this lock. And I really hate this packaging. I just wish locks would come in cardboard boxes like this one. That's a proper lock. That's a good lock. Comes in a cardboard box. If I were ever to start making locks, I would sell them in cardboard boxes. Because look at that, it's horrible. Right, get rid of that. And unveil the magic. That actually feels really, really nice. It's so smooth. Wow. I did have a Masterlock a version of this this lock. I forget. I think it's a Masterlock XL. I managed to pick it in under 10 seconds, and it was really, really rough. But this one is so smooth. And the drill protection, yeah, the plate does. It does spin there a little bit. It's not very impressive. That hardly spins at all, actually. What? That's crazy. Okay, so the anti-drill plate doesn't really spin. What? I am confused right now. This drill plate should spin freely, and it doesn't. That's really disappointing. Okay. I'd be interested to know if that's just a problem with my particular lock. It's a little bit crunchy. I mean, they tend to be a little bit crunchy when you actually close the padlock, just that last click there. I will say one thing though, the actual hole for the shackle is massive. You should probably have a smaller hole. I think even the master lock was better fitting than that. Shackle is really rattly. Well, it works. I'm just confused with this plate here. I would have thought that this plate should spin freely, and it doesn't seem to. So I suppose it will protect the core a little bit, but not as good as a free spinning plate would. But interestingly enough, it does turn when you put the key in. That is just weird. That's bizarre. Alright guys, very sorry about that. My battery just died, of course. I kind of expected it would, because I've been struggling to get this video done all day, so of course when I do actually get a chance to make the video, it doesn't work out properly. But what I was about to say is, I noticed when this lock was in its packaging, that right at the top of the keyway, if I can get this to focus, there's a little indent just there. And that's quite a normal thing in a used lock, but you don't expect to see that in a brand new lock. That's where the shoulder of the key hits against the core. Like I said, that's not something you expect to see in a new lock. It does mean that the lock's been tested, but it also means that the lock might have been tested a little bit too harshly. Anyway, like I said, I'm very disappointed about that shutter on the front, and I might be contacting Sterling about that. So I guess let's try and pick it. I didn't actually choose the keys when I bought the lock. It didn't even cross my mind to check the keys, so it turns out that we've got pretty good bitting. But anyway, I'm going to see what it takes to pick this lock. Alright, I was just thinking, maybe that's it open, but that looks like a false set. I will be very pleased if it is, because I honestly was not expecting any security pins in this. Okay. It's kind of awkward to tension this. So I'm wondering at the moment if this shutter is maybe getting in the way. Just this thing, maybe it's not letting me open the lock. That might be possible. Could very well be possible. Because you see it's turned quite a fair bit. Or it could also be that I've just dropped into a full set. Pretty deep full set if it is. Okay, I'm going to reset and try again. Click out of one. Oh, that's us. Alright, so I'm not sure what happened the first time. I'm not sure if that was something to do with the shutter or that there's spools in this. I will be playing around with this after the video, but as you can see, the shutter is actually, like, it seems to be attached to the core. So I thought this would be a free spinning plate, but doesn't look like it. So a little bit disappointing, but I will say that the picking, it wasn't easy to pick. I'm just curious to find out if this thing has got spools in it, or if that was just the shutter getting in the way when I first tried to pick it. If you do have one of these disc padlocks yourself, then I would like to know if you have the same problem with your shutter on it. It doesn't feel like it's jammed, it feels like it's supposed to be like that. But anyway, there we go. Sterling disc padlock. Not all that bad. I mean, Sterling are a good brand. It wasn't really easy to pick. I'm sure it's probably okay as far as these disc padlocks go, but I just wish that spinning plate in the front was actually a rotating plate rather than kind of fixed. Apart from that, worth £14. I'd probably spend a little bit more and get a ABUS version of this kind of disc padlock with the ABUS Plus core for that amount of money. I mean, you may as well. It could be worse. Okay, it could be worse. I'm sure I spent about the same on a Masterlock XL. So I'm a little bit halfway in between. Not quite sure what to say about this Sterling SPL100. Probably best avoid it. Okay, I will be contacting Sterling about the rotating plate, and I'll let you know either at the end of this video or in the description or comments how I got on, and I'll do a little bit more research and play around with this lock a bit more and see if I can find out if it's actually got spools. Thanks very much for watching this video, something a little bit different. I do enjoy doing unboxing videos, and I hope you find this video somewhat helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.